Hey guys, welcome back to TV Movie Mistress. As always, I'm your host Mo, and I'm back with a familiar voice. Miss Shanna is here. Say hi, Shanna.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi. Look, it's sounding all like delectable and innocent. I love
Oh
it.
my
I love
gosh.
it. It
Okay.
sounds weird. But guys, we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. We're going to be talking about Superman, the latest from James Gunn, the first in the new DC universe. And oh my God, one, I'm just so glad we're away from that dark Superman emo shit that we were drenched in for the past decade. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, I just want to say that off the top. But yeah,
I
James
do.
Gunn.
I will say,
Sorry,
I
go
think
ahead.
technically this is the first live action because I think Creature
Mm.
Commandos actually counts as the first
True,
of
true, true.
the
I
of the
did
new.
not watch that. I did hear good things about it, but I did not watch it. But okay, did you watch it?
I did, and I really
Oh,
liked it.
okay.
I thought it was really well done. I thought what's his James, so here's the thing, James Gunn is really good at doing team up films, and so that was
Yes.
kind of one of the reasons that I was excited for Creature Commandos, and I wasn't initially as excited for this
Hmm.
because I just didn't, it's not that I don't trust James Gunn, but I just think he excels at movies that are about a team and really like developing a group of characters. And
Yes.
so I wasn't sure how that would do with Superman because I didn't want to see a team Superman movie. I wanted to see
Gotcha.
Superman.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I will say that I was very pleasantly surprised at what I
Hmm.
saw on screen.
Gotcha. Well, again, this was written and directed by James Gunn, Mr. Guardians of the Galaxy himself. He has completed his stint with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and is now the head of DC Studios, which they've been needed. There. Are you hearing like a whistling?
I am sorry if you are maybe picking up the full on mariachi that is happening outside my
That is
window
not it at
from my
all.
neighbors.
It sounds like, that test you take in elementary school to see if you're deaf?
Oh, okay. I don't hear that, but there is like very much so like mariachi happening
Okay.
outside my
Well,
window.
now it stopped, so it was
This
most
is
likely
what
my ear.
happens when you live in California, by the way.
I'm jealous.
Sometimes
I'm
you're
jealous.
just randomly
Yeah.
listening to mariachi.
Mariachi music. Look, not a bad perk. Not a bad perk. I'm sure it reminds you of Brooklyn.
A little
Um, but yeah, so James Gunn is now the head of DC Studios. They have their
with
very own
um
Kevin.
with Joshua Safran, I think. It's not
Yes,
him
sounds
alone.
about right.
Yes.
Yes, he's got a co guy that I do. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't really know him, but he's basically the Kevin Feige of the DCU now. So yay.
Mhm.
Um, what was Superman about? What is this reintroduction like? Superman, this is the official IMDb, right? Superman must reconcile his alien Kryptonian heritage with his human upbringing as reporter Clark Kent as the embodiment of truth, justice, and the human way. He soon finds himself in a world that views these as old-fashioned. So that's a stretch on what that movie was. But before we get into the movie itself properly, I wanted to ask you, who was your first Superman and who is your favorite Superman?
I mean, my first Superman was probably Christopher Reeve,
Hmm.
although I'm not super attached to that movie or that version of Superman. I'm just saying that because I'm pretty sure it is based on like my age, and I'm sure I saw it as when I was young, or I know I saw it when I was young, but I'm not gonna like be like, oh my god, like Christopher Reeves was like the only Superman. My first Superman that I like really remember and that I followed was
Mm-hmm.
Dean Cain,
Mm-hmm.
The Adventures of Lois and Clark. So
Same for
that
me as
was,
well.
yeah, that was like my real
Yeah.
introduction to Superman. And then I would say in general, I've always been more into the TV Superman than
Mm.
the movie Superman. I do remember that the Brandon Routh Superman, I saw that
Mm.
movie literally the day I moved to the Bay Area.
Hmm.
And I just like remember it because I moved here, and then that evening, like after my friend picked me up from the airport, she was like, "Oh, do you want to go see a movie?" And I was like, "Sure." I didn't, like my apartment had zero, what's that word? Zero furniture in it. I had, so
Mm.
I was like,
You're like, why not?
yeah,
Yeah.
like I had just got the keys to my brand new apartment. I was like, there's no furniture in here. I don't know what to do. I have like, I've
You're
just
like a place
arrived.
with chairs?
I literally
Sure.
have like a suitcase and like
Yeah.
one set of sheets.
Aw.
So my friend was like, "Do you want to go to this movie?" And I was like, "Sure." And so I remember that was the first movie that I saw when I moved to the Bay
Aw.
Area.
Okay, okay. Well, for me, the same Dean Cain, may he rest in peace. Um, he was my first Superman, and I did enjoy, like, that was what got me into Superman. And Superman was like my favorite. Like, if I had to say Superman, Batman, it was always Superman, probably until a couple of years ago for me. Um, in terms of my favorite Superman, I think I will also have to agree that it's Brandon Routh, because I think out of all of the Supermans we've had, he's kind of embodied post Christopher Reeves as well. Like,
Okay.
I
Brandon
like
Routh is
Brandon.
not my favorite Superman. I'm just gonna say that. Right
Really?
out the
Who's your
bar.
favorite
Not
Superman?
even by a mile.
Henry Cavill? Who's your favorite
No.
Superman?
My favorite
Christopher
Superman
Reeves.
is no, it's Tyler Hoechlin as Superman on
Wait, what?
on
Who's
Superman and
that?
Lois. Superman and Lois.
Oh, God, that entire Superman universe just
Yeah.
jumped over my brain.
And
Okay,
probably
okay,
after
that.
him it would be Tom Welling. Dean Cain is no longer my favorite Superman because
Mm.
he's a horrible human being. But yeah. But yeah, after him it would be Tom Welling.
Okay, okay. Tom Welling is decent. Yeah, I don't know. I just like Brandon Routh Superman just because, again, I felt like post Christopher Reeve. Maybe truly Christopher Reeves is my favorite, but because that is why I like Brandon Routh. Again, because he kind of like just embodies that Clark Kent hominess, justice and all of that. So it's definitely not Henry Cavill. I feel like this would have been easier if I said who I don't like, but
Mm.
um
I
Christopher
don't know.
Reeves, Brendan
I
Routh.
don't dislike Henry Cavill's Superman either. I
Hmm.
just think he's not the way Zack Snyder did those movies. Those movies are not
Hmm.
good.
Hmm.
So that's why I
He didn't
don't.
give him
But
enough
I
story to
actually
flesh him out or
think
anything.
I think Henry Cavill had the potential to be our best Superman if
Hmm.
Zack Snyder wasn't in charge of those movies. Because Henry Cavill
Unfortunately not.
is very similar to David. I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, but very
David Corn
similar.
Sweat.
Yes, to him, he is this naturally Superman square jawed looking
Hmm.
guy who also
Hmm.
happens to be just like a giant sweetheart.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think because of who Zack Snyder is and how he interprets these superheroes, um, he just didn't give Henry Cavill the opportunity to be that like internally like just sweet wholesome guy, whereas like
I agree.
James
Even like
Gunn
Batman,
did.
Ben Affleck never got his own solo Batman movie, which
Mhm.
just sounds sacrilegious when you think about it. They attempted that universe, spent billions of dollars on it, and Ben Affleck never got his own solo Batman. And the story they kept coming up with for Superman, Henry Cavill as Superman, just never fully was Superman. It was like this really niche, the dark Superman that they kind of just went with and stuck with and never really, like, in my opinion, like, evolved the story. So anyway, that's Just wanted to ask that. Wanted to know. So outside of that, yes, this is the reboot, I guess, of the Superman universe. David Corn Sweat was cast, and I was like, I don't know this dude. We also have Lois Lane, who is played by, where are you,
Rachel
Lewis?
Brosnan.
Rachel. Wait, say her name one more time, because I'm not familiar with her at
I think
all.
it's just Brosnan. I'm not familiar with her either in terms of her
Mm-hmm.
acting. I know that she is, I believe she's Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's that character.
That is
But
okay.
I never
Okay.
watched that show. So
Gotcha.
I
Gotcha.
don't know enough about her to be like, yeah, like
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
but
Same.
people
Same.
were
I was
very
like, I don't know her.
excited. People love that show. So I knew she would be, and she looks the part. I think I'm a little bit over how they keep doing Lois in live action. And by that I mean she's always just a basic like white girl with black hair. I My
Gotcha. Yeah.
favorite Lois right now would probably be the animated version that's on My Adventures with
Mm.
Superman, and she's half Asian.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, what did you think of David Corn Sweat's portrayal as Superman?
I think it was really, really good. I think he I've been watching the press run, obviously, and so he seems like a genuine guy.
Mhm.
He seems like also like genuinely to have like a little bit of like corniness, the way Clark does as well. Like I
Mhm.
saw like something they asked him, like some pop culture
You
reference.
said the same amount of horniness that Clark
No,
also had? Oh,
corny,
I'm like horniness.
corniness. So
Okay.
like
Okay.
they asked him like some pop culture reference, and he was just genuinely like, I don't understand that reference.
Oh,
Like I
that's
don't know
cute.
what you're talking about. And I was like, this is
Yeah.
adorable. Like he's just an adorable, sweet human being. Um, and I thought it was a really, really smart thing to not try and give us like another origin story. Um,
Yes.
Again, Tyler Hoechlin is my favorite Superman, and Superman and Lois just ended this year.
Yeah.
So it for me it was just a little bit weird because on Superman and Lois, it's like the Superman where like he's an adult, he has like teenage children who are
Hmm.
discovering their powers, et cetera, et cetera. So going back to like, oh, this is still like a very young Superman who's just not just figuring out his powers, but he's like him and Lois are just getting together.
Hmm.
They're you know, he's still like very like bumbling. His career isn't like set, like that
It's not
Superman.
fully realized Superman Clark Kent.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that was just the only thing is I'm just like, oh, I think I got used to like this very like mature Clark who's like been doing this for forever.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so to go back a little bit, I was like, oh, okay. Like okay, like
Yeah.
I have to recalibrate for this
No, I
Superman.
get you. I get you. And this, I will say, I did like the fact that like we jumped into the story just quickly. But okay, I guess before we get into too much of the weeds of the movie, because there's a couple of things I did want to touch on. But overall, what did you think of the movie?
I thought it was really, really good. I
Mm.
thought again, like the setup was really smart, and
Mm-hmm.
I like that we weren't although Clark is like younger, we weren't starting from the beginning. We're not like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to like watch him like land in a pod and grow up with the Kents and
Yeah.
everything. Like just like
Yeah.
no, he's been doing this. I thought it was so smart how they just were like gave you like the bullet points at the very beginning of like this is how long Clark has been here. This is how long
Yeah.
the world has known about metahumans.
And
This
they
is
dropped.
how
Yeah.
long
Yeah. You're right.
like
Yep.
like all they just like boom boom boom
Yeah.
and here's our story, which
Yes.
I
Yeah.
thought
No, I
was
really like that
so
too.
intelligent because not for nothing, it just gets tiring watching origin
Absolutely.
stories like let's just trust
Like
that we
we
all
know the
know
story.
exactly. Let's
Yeah,
just trust that
yeah.
our audience is clued in
Yeah,
to the
even the little bit of exposition they did kind of annoyed me, where I
basics.
was like, who doesn't know who Superman is yet? Why are we reciting some of these things? Like who it's almost like somebody dropping lore about Jesus. Like I don't need like we all know Jesus at this point. It's pretty much the same thing. Um so okay, ask me what I thought about the movie.
What did you think about the
I
movie?
thought it was okay.
It's like you're like so ready and excited to say that.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was a solid entrance into the new DC universe, but I swear I did not laugh for the first 30 minutes. I was just like,
Oh.
yeah. It some parts were better than others, in my opinion. The storyline could have been tighter, more like cohesive, I felt. My favorite part was Lex Luthor, and we're going to talk about Nicholas Hoult.
Mhm.
Um
He's so silly.
but it felt like a solid entrance. This feels like if we look back, if James Gunn continues to build out this world, we're gonna look back on this pretty much like Iron Man 1, right? It's not the Marvel Cinematic Universe at a level 10. It's a good intro, it's a good base, it's gonna build, and that's what I'm looking forward to. But I didn't love it. I liked it. I
Mm.
think that some of the things it does well, it does really well, and then some things just did not connect with me. But yeah, so um, where do we start? Where do we start? Where do you? Well, let's see. Okay, so in this world, like they established the metahumans, we have the introduction of Nathan Fillion. He is out here as God, one of the Green Lanterns, Hal Jordan. Then we also have Hawk Girl. I need them to retire Hawk Girl. I'm tired of Hawk Girl.
Why?
They can't do Hawk Girl right in cinema. I
I
have
like
not
Hawk
seen.
Girl.
I like her as a character, but I have not seen one iteration. Maybe outside of like WCW. I have not really liked any of the iterations of Hawk Girl. It's just been a light skinned, biracial black girl who's just like attitudey. Like I've
Well, this
never.
is Latina, so let's start with that.
Okay, okay. She's apologies, but you get what I'm saying. Like she could be Latina, she could be biracial, she could be light skinned. They kind of like pick the same look slash person slash script for every iteration of Hawkgirl. And I'm just like, you guys can stop now. So, but you like her.
I
We have
liked Hawk Girl in this iteration. I mean, again, so I thought it was when I saw that they were going to have all these different DC characters, I got afraid that it was going to be a team movie. But what I like is that you have the quote unquote Justice Gang, which
yes.
so I was like, of course they're acting like a gang, so we're calling it the Justice Gang. You have the Justice Gang, and they are separate
Mr.
from
Terrific.
Superman. Yeah, they're separate
Yes.
from Superman. They're like kind of
Mm-hmm.
doing their own thing. And so I liked
I love how they said they're sponsored by a corporation in this world.
yeah. So they're
Yeah.
I can't remember which one. Was it Lord? I think it's Lord Tech.
Maybe.
And so so we don't, because they're not like on a team with Superman, we didn't have to like delve super deep
Mm-hmm.
into who they are. They just give us kind of like a taste of who they are. And
Yeah.
so you get that like she is a metahuman, that she is kind of been placed on this team, right? Like, so they're not specifically like besties or anything like that. Like, they've been put on this team together. And then also she has a very like iconic scene towards the end where it's like, yeah, I'm a superhero, but I'm not Superman. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I
know,
will drop
the
you. And she did.
yeah.
And she did. I'm like, "Oh,
And
he's
that's what I
dead."
loved about it was I was like she was like, not that sweet, like
Yeah. Yeah.
and so I just really appreciated that. I enjoy I really enjoyed the actress. She is currently on The Walking not The Walking Dead, what's the was The Last of Us. She's currently on The
Okay.
Last of Us, but she was also in Alien Romulus.
Hmm.
She was in she's been in a few things recently. I just really like that actress. So, and I love
Okay.
that she was able to stand her ground against Nathan Fillion and what's his name and
Mr.
Eddie,
Terrific.
yeah, Eddie
Yeah.
Gagethi,
Oh,
because like
yeah.
these
Mina's
are
actors.
actors who have been
Yeah.
around for like a really long time. Nathan Fillion is
Yes.
also like a very like well regarded comedic actor. So I also know like that must have been like really interesting because he seems like somebody to like riff and kind of just like throw things at you. And
Yes.
she's like seemed to handle it really, really well. I forgot she was also in that Madam Web movie.
Oh God, I haven't
We
even
do
watched
not
that
speak its
yet.
name. We do not acknowledge
Yeah.
it.
A terrible movie. Yeah.
Okay, it's like I'm glad that that's not what she's known for.
Gosh, that movie, oh, it got made. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So we have the Justice Gang. We also have the one staple we've kind of seen in a lot of like trailers and so on and so forth, crypto. We have
Mm,
crypto. This for me when I first saw the trailer really like got me engaged and like committed to this movie. I was like finally, like again, like we're moving away from like this extremely depressing emo Superman, and it's like look, he likes dogs and he has friends and like he we see him in sunlight. So um and of course crypto is like based on like James Gunn's dog or so on and so forth that he
mm,
had, but I really like crypto. I do think he was a cute dog, but it was also like my brain glitched a couple of times because that is a superhuman dog.
mhm.
So when like we see him playing with Superman, like I'm like, okay, Superman is wincing. But then when you see crypto in the real world, I'm like, I feel like I don't know, he just be breaking boulders, right? So like that's a weapon. Crypto's a weapon. But what did you think
Oh
about
yeah.
crypto?
I love crypto. So I was glad there's like a reveal towards the end of like how Superman came to be the owner of crypto. And I was really happy about that because it's a reference to the comics and setting up what's going to happen with Supergirl. And if
Mhm.
you have like read that particular run that they're going to be adapting, it just made me really excited to see Crypto and how he's like going to be a part of her story as well. And I love that they cast the casting is out there, so it's not a spoiler. I love that they cast Millie Alcock as Supergirl.
Yes.
I think she's going to be amazing. Besides her as young Rhaenyra, who I cannot like. I swear I think of that moment from season 1 of House of Dragon when dude said like, well, we can sell away and like become like orange farmers and like spicers and her
Yeah.
look of like I think about that like
Just
once a
pure
month
disgust.
minimum.
Yeah.
Like it just cracks me
Yeah.
up. But besides that, um I I just saw her in Sirens on Netflix. And I think that really put into perspective for me like how good she is and how
Mhm.
awesome she's going to be as Supergirl, especially given the run that they're adapting. It's not like this like bright, shiny, hopeful Supergirl. It's the Supergirl that's
Mhm.
kind of
Mhm.
like people are shitty and I don't even know if
Yeah,
I want
she's
to help them
brash and young and probably
anymore.
Gen Z.
Yeah, well, she's just like people are shitty. I don't know if I want to help
Yeah.
them. Like, and
Yeah.
like word real,
And
like, and
she's
she
not
like,
wrong
and she's like,
though. She
she's she's like in space doing her thing in
Hmm.
space. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to see her version of Supergirl and what they like the just even the taste of it that they gave us in this movie. I'm excited for.
I will say I was not. I will say I was not. I'm not. I've never really been a big Supergirl fan, so I wasn't looking forward to the movie. But I do like. I committed when they introduced her at the end and her personality. That got me. That got me through the door. Because at one point I was thinking like, "Huh, Supergirl is a thing, and am I gonna go see that?" And blah blah blah. Now, but then like when she came on screen, I was like, "Oh, I like her personality. We're in for that." So
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we've got Justice Gang, we've got Crypto, we've got Supergirl. Um, let's talk about Lex Luthor. Let's talk about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, because to me, I think he was the strongest link in this movie. I really loved his portrayal of Lex Luthor. I think it was like, I don't know if you have reference for like Gene Hackman's Lex
Mhm.
Luthor.
Yeah, I remember it.
He, it felt like that's the Lex Luthor he was embodying, petty and evil, and I was completely here for it. Like every scene he was in really felt like he committed to the bit, that he was just like here to be an evil douchebag. And I was completely here for it from the beginning to the end. What did you think about Nicholas Holt's portrayal of Lex Luthor?
I thought he was really good. I mean, it's Nicholas Holt. I'm never gonna not think that he is awesome. He's just an amazing actor. What I found interesting, and I think what I kind of want to know more about, is the other people that he was working with. Because, like, I feel like in the past, it's been very, we are working for Lex Luthor. He has this vendetta against Superman, um,
Hmm.
which Lex in this was very much so.
I mean, like
He's
in
just a
every
hater. He was
iteration,
just a
Lex
hater.
just he hates
Yeah,
Superman.
he's hater, he's jealous, he's like, why is everybody always thinking about him and not me, and I'm
Hmm.
doing all this. But there the people that were on his team working for him, it felt like they weren't just there because of money.
Oh yeah, they were
Um,
there because they were haters.
yeah, and I'm trying to figure out why they were haters. Like that's the thing.
Hmm.
I came away from it wanting to know like why are y'all so dead? Because they were excited. Like
Hmm.
when they have those scenes where like Lex is like you know controlling the Ultraman and like beating up
Yes.
Clark, like they were giddy in the background and I'm like
Yes,
is it and
absolutely.
even when he had that whole camp of people who were like working and there were like tons of scientists and stuff like that there and I'm like why are so many people dedicated to like taking down Superman because it seems like in general these folks are not like in general people like Superman, right? Like
Mhm.
even though like Lex has this whole like campaign to like make him look bad on like social media and everything. In
Yes.
general, everybody seems to like Superman. So I wanted to know like why do these people in particular don't like Superman and don't like Superman so much
Mm.
that they're like actively engaged in helping Lex
Yeah.
take him down? They
Yeah.
were like excited. I'm like, did Superman not save your mom and like save somebody else?
It
Like, what is the
reminded me
personal vendetta here?
look, and I might be wrong, but it reminded me of like the animated series. And again, I might be wrong, but I feel like we've had moments like this where people do just work for Lex Luthor against Superman because they truly do not like Superman themselves, right? They're the
Mhm.
smaller fish. If Lex Luthor is like, I hate that alien immigrant, then there's also people who don't make nowhere near like Lex Luthor who are like, I also hate that alien immigrant. And like, yeah, perfect example. The animated series at one point where like, I don't even know if you remember this, but like the doctor at one point who used to help Superman all the time, right? He, I
Oh.
think, does some like shady um medicinal shit to like Superman. Maybe he like takes his blood or something. And he's like, "Well, I was never scared of you until you like almost punched me in my face or some shit." So like and then he turns against Superman. So I could definitely see it. But yeah, no, Lex Luthor, Nicholas Hoult, my brain just keeps going back to that. I did like I like that scene where he was like kicking off pencils and then like folks had to pick it up. I like that.
Lex,
Um
he's just so extra and like so what's the word? One track
yes.
that it,
Yes.
like cuz it's crazy to me that Eve was getting all that stuff, but she was getting all that stuff because he's so one track and so like single-minded about taking down Superman that he's not noticing anything else that's happening around him. Um
Oh yeah, and he's always willing to destroy Earth to destroy Superman. He's like, "I'm doing this for the people of Earth. I will
yeah.
also destroy the people of Earth to get
Yeah,
to you."
it's
And
just
it's like,
so extra. I'm
"Ooh."
like, "Sir, calm down." Like I
He
promise
that does
you.
not his like again, and I feel like I that's why I really enjoyed Nicholas Holt's portrayal is just that unhinged but yet self-aware part that is Lex Luthor, where he's like, yeah, I understand I'm doing a lot of things that are wild, but man, I really hate you. Like,
But
man,
it's
you
okay because I really, really dislike you.
yeah, it's like it's just and it's like it's that I like, you know. And then we kind of have like a Mercy stand-in who ends up being like a weird thing with Jimmy Olsen. Like, what did you think about? Because I was just like, what is this? Like, they're supposed to believe like Jimmy's a Lothario in this
See,
universe.
that's what I loved. Oh my god, I was like, "Why?" Like at first, I was like, "Why is everybody?" Because it's so like the first time you meet Jimmy,
Hmm.
at the paper, there are like these girls who are like in the background and they're like talking to each other and they keep looking over at him. And I was like, what's that about? But then as the like movie goes on and you realize it's like, oh no, like all these chicks are like super into Jimmy. And he's like literally having to beat this women off with sticks. And so when it
Not
comes
Sticks,
down to
not Sticks, not Jimmy Olsen.
it's the fact that like Jimmy is a player that like saves the day. It just cracked me up. I was like, it's so perfect. And I love that actor. He's on I said The Righteous Gemstones. And he's
Oh, I never saw
like
that.
super sweet on that as well. So I just
The
yeah,
young
I
lady who was playing the evil girl, not even evil girlfriend, but you know, Lex Luthor's girlfriend, did she
mhm.
remind you? Because I think there's another character in the MCU that you really like that, you know, she kind of gave feels of.
Cool.
Why am I forgetting her name? Doctor Strange.
Oh, Doctor Strange
Alice.
is
No, her name, the way you spell it, has like two. Oh, what's her name? You
oh,
remember
are you
like
talking about Madison?
Madison? Yes,
Madison from
yes.
She-Hulk. I love Madison. Yo,
Yeah.
somebody said that. Like, I saw something and it was like, get these two in a movie together ASAP, and it was Madison and Eve. I absolutely love Eve. Um, I think she's a model. I looked her up. I think she's
Hmm.
just a model. I don't
Yeah.
think she's done much acting before this. And I really yeah, I thought she was funny. I thought she was like really sad. I thought Jimmy, I was kind of like, because when he said something about he don't like her toes. Also, if you look, whenever Jimmy's like scrolling through his phone, it's nothing but chicks' names and numbers.
Yeah. Like, what is this life Jimmy's
I know
living?
Jimmy's just doing his thing, but I was like, Jimmy, this is not the time to be hemming and hawing. You need information from this girl that's like
Yes.
life threatening, and
And he's
he's
like, oh
like,
my God, I
he's
gotta
like,
spend the entire weekend with a hot woman. Oh
yeah,
my
he's like,
God.
hang out with you for how long? I'm like, Jimmy, if you don't chill
Like
out.
if you don't get with the program, sir. So that was cute. So like again, there are like all these little pieces where like I liked and I enjoyed, and that was one of it. But I don't know, a lot of it just ended, like if I was putting everything into a puzzle, it all still just did not all gel completely, is how I
Um,
feel. Like it wasn't seamless.
I look, I thought it was really good. It very much had the markings of James Gunn's like style on it.
Absolutely.
And I thought the story was like very straightforward in terms of like explaining who Superman is, giving him motivation. I love this stuff around like finding out that his parents aren't who he thought they were, his birth
They
parents.
said, take over that goddamn planet.
Yeah, and then also finding out, like, and then it goes back to like the whole like nature versus nurture, like
Mm,
realizing is like, okay, I was doing this because I thought my birth parents wanted me to, but really what it
yeah.
is like I'm really doing this because this is how I was raised by these parents. Like these
Yeah.
parents are the ones who taught me the values of like being good to people or whatever. And
Okay,
so
so let's talk about them, these people.
mhm,
Martha and Pa Kent.
mhm.
Um, did they have to be so stereotypically farm folks? Like my guy was walking around like we don't have health insurance or something. He got gout, and his mom is like screaming into the phone. Like I don't know. It was just like this was a lot.
I think in general James Gunn tends to do very broad characters. And I think it. My only thing that I thought was weird is like if Clark grew up with parents who talked like that, he would sound
Yeah,
more like a hick.
yeah,
Like
yeah. And he
like
doesn't.
I just don't think they needed to sound so much like that.
Yeah.
But that was
Like
probably my only.
I wasn't loving it. Yeah, I wasn't loving the parental pick, and maybe it's because like we've gone so far where like Spider Man's mom is a hottie, but like like we don't gotta have gout,
Well, no,
Pa and Ma
I like
Cat.
that they were a lot older because I feel like again, yeah, we have gotten to like the like the hot parent
Well,
thing
we
going
also
on.
age differently now in
Well,
society,
but I
so
just think in general, like the past few like iterations of Superman, like
yeah.
yeah, they have tried
We had
to
Kevin. What's his
they have
name?
tried to like cast like hot older actors as like their parents, and I'm like,
Yes.
I guess. But I yeah, I like the just juxtaposition because there also have been iterations of Clark's parents, his birth parents, that are like that are like yes, we sent you because our earth was dying, but also we sent you to this particular place because you would be the most powerful person there and you
Yeah.
could rule or
And
whatever.
I
So
like I respect that.
so
Like you're not
yeah,
gonna send your kid to like a world where he can be enslaved or some shit,
exactly.
you know?
So it's definitely like that has existed before.
Like they didn't send him
Um
to Darkseid or Thanos is like so
but it
thankfully.
was I what I found interesting is more the I feel like James Gunn threw in a lot of names that are recognizable from the comics,
Mhm.
but didn't really do much with them. And in that case, if you're not going to do much with them, then why are you making them these particular characters? To give you an
Mm.
example, Cat Grant,
Mm.
she's in there. She's one of one of their coworkers at the Daily Planet. And also I thought like in general that girl, the person who he cast, like her styling is all off. She had like maybe
Yeah.
4 lines the whole movie. So I'm like, why? I don't want to say waste. Like maybe he will bring her back and do more with her in the future, but like it felt like a waste. Like
Yeah.
why make her
Oh
Cat
gosh,
Grant?
yeah.
She could have just been girl who works at Daily Planet.
Look, that's another thing. The entire we have Wendell
Mhm.
he
Wendell Pierce
plays
as Perry.
Wendell Pierce. I felt
Yeah,
like that was
yeah,
wasted. Like that
yeah, because
entire
I'm like
crew was
he
just not
again had 2 lines.
yeah.
I think that character can be more, but like the paper felt like very much like an afterthought. Like the paper
Yeah.
was a setup for them to do the scene where Lois where Lois interviews him as Superman, and then also a setup for us to have the moment where like they expose Lex at the end.
Yes, but it
But
did not
they
feel, it
didn't.
felt like a draft of a,
Yeah,
like, if this had, like, 2 more drafts to go or something,
yeah,
it would've been better, but yeah, I
and
just
I
felt like
think
that entire, outside of those moments you just mentioned, especially with the acting acumen of Wendell Pierce, like, it was just very wasted, and that was another thing that kinda took me out of it, because I was like, what are we doing here? This could be more. I
mhm.
wanted more,
I
you
think in
know?
general, what I would love to see from that character in particular that I haven't really seen done in live action, at least not in a movie live action,
Mhm.
is that I would love to see Perry being like almost a mentor for Clark,
Mm.
and how his mentorship of Clark
Mm.
also influences Superman.
Mm.
Like I think that would be really interesting. And wasn't okay, it's been a while since I watched Man of Steel. But I feel like in Man of Steel, Clark's dad dies, right?
Yes,
Um
he walked into a hurricane like an
Hurricane, yeah.
idiot and
Yeah,
said, "Yeah, don't save me, son. Don't save me, superhuman son. I've got this, even though I'm just a mere mortal." Sorry,
which
that scene
is
pisses me off.
fine. Again, it's fine, like whatever. But I'm saying it goes back to like Zack Snyder didn't then take that opportunity to be like, well, who's the most natural father figure then in Clark's
Mm,
life?
yeah,
It should be Perry. It should be the man
yeah,
who
yeah,
like is his boss at this
yeah.
paper that he can develop, because that Perry was played by Lawrence Fishburne. Again, amazing actor.
Mhm.
I just feel like in general, they don't use that character in a way that
Yeah,
they always make a big deal of like casting these like really great actors for that part and then not
yeah.
doing anything with it.
Doing anything.
So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. You're not gonna get an argument out of me on that. I absolutely agree. And, maybe going forward they'll do something else. One last thing I gotta say about like Pac, like, because I think I know why I just hated that entire scene. He just looked like, every iteration of like Henry VIII, where he's just old and dragging his feet. Like that's all that kept popping into my head every time. Like it looked like that man was suffering on screen. And I just was like, I was like, Clark, please take care of your dad a little better. Like, looks like this man's about to drop that. But okay, I got that out. Also, like the I guess the main conflict of the movie, of course, is like you've got these two fictional countries, and you've got this president of one that's sort of stoking it, and at the same time, like obviously, Luther's got this plan that involves this guy, and he's got pocket dimension where he's going from one side of the country to another side, and it's just like a lot. But it's a very Lex Luthor plan. Like, just forget taking a plane to go see him. Let me build pocket dimensions. That makes such a Lex Luthor. Did this not feel like if the animated movie, it just always looks yellow in my head. But the animated Superman series. Does this not feel like if they did a movie?
um which animated Superman?
The the only one that matters, but like there's also so many. So Superman the animated series, the one that we made a series. Let me see. Yeah, Superman the animated series that came out in 1996. It's the one that also introduced like Bruce Wayne into the world. We had Bizarro in there as well. We
Oh,
had
I
Metallo. They had
to be honest, I didn't watch that one as much as I watched the
uh
Batman animated series,
gotcha.
and like that one I know really really well.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
it so what I'm just gonna like straight up be honest. I like that whole storyline because it was very clear that it was um it was parodying the Israel Palestine conflict,
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha. Yeah.
I thought I thought it was I was like I wouldn't be surprised if Israel was like James Gunn has
Too
WMDs,
woke.
and
Well, they've
we
already been
are
doing that. They get too
no,
woke. Like,
it's
shut
not
up.
even that. I'm like,
Yeah.
Israel might try to kill James Gunn.
They just okay. I
Like
mean, look, they could do anything at this point, but yeah,
that's how blatant and obvious it was that
yeah,
he was saying what Israel is doing in
yeah,
Gaza is bad. That
yeah.
I was like, James Gunn should hire extra security. Like that's
Like,
how I
it's
felt
like, oh,
coming
look
from
at this country being backed up by like this other guy who's just super wealthy in another country. Where have we seen
it.
that before? Yeah, no, it was really
And
well done.
like the way they depicted the head of that country,
Yes.
I don't
Did
know
it
if
not
you've
remind
seen
you of
Benjamin Netanyahu, but it looks just like him.
look, no, it also reminded me of sort of in Mickey 17 what Bong Joon-ho did with
hmm
Mark
Mark Ruffalo, but Mark Ruffalo
Mark
to me
Ruffalo's
in that
character.
felt
Less
more
crazy
like
hair.
it felt more like Elon Musky. It felt more like tech
Mm.
billionaire who isn't actually that smart. That's what that felt like to me. This to me was like, no, this is Netanyahu. Like they're
Yeah,
literally showing
just
us Netanyahu.
unlikable and all. I actually honestly thought it was just more an amalgamation. I mean, I could see that an amalgamation of Trump and Netanyahu,
No, it
honestly.
was it was
But
totally Netanyahu. Like,
yeah.
so I really enjoyed that whole
hmm
thing, and I thought it was really well
Yeah.
done.
Yes.
I and also to realize that like Lex is doing it just because he wants to. Well, part of like he says is like he's like I didn't do this to stop you from stopping the invasion. I
I
did it so I
started
would have
that.
to. I started the invasion so I have an excuse to kill you.
Yeah,
Like
I love
so,
it. I love it.
I
Yeah.
appreciated that, but also it's like, and there's the added bonus of I get to like declare myself king of my own country. Like that's
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
something
No, I
that Lex
really think it
Luthor would
was
do.
well done. And of course, it's not the first time in our lifetimes that we've seen this sort of thing play out, not just in the real life, but like through like what whatever medium it is we're watching. So I mean, again, what is it they always say? History doesn't repeat itself, but it rhymes, which is such a corny phrasing, but I will always say it.
I mean, I felt the same way when I saw the Marvels. Like
Hmm.
crazy how that one came out very soon after everything happened on October 7th, but that also felt like a very clear um
Hmm.
parallel for me. Um
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So okay, let me see. What else have we not talked? So yeah, I mean, pretty much the fight in the whole pocket dimension that was cool. We meet like Metamorpho. He's got a kid and whatever. They're like, that felt schmaltzy. It felt like, when it's a baby. When I feel like okay, fine, whatever. It's an alien baby. Like it, you know what actually probably got me more emotionally was the falafel guy.
I thought that was so well done.
Yeah,
Especially like to introduce a character. Again, it's so hard when you're talking about a 2-hour movie to introduce character right at the beginning, and
yeah,
then make it so that that character has value um, at like a pivotal moment in the story.
yeah.
I thought it was really well done. Again, also making that person a brown person, I think,
hmm
really smart.
So I have a so like ultimately the girl is drinking some rosé and it's nothing but burps. But the final conflict of the movie, or I guess the final reveal of the movie is, and I guess this makes sense why all the baby because I'm a BL girl, you know that. So like I've been seeing the tour, the press tour with Nicholas and David as like just kiss. Like
hmm
it's been very like two boyfriends, and everybody's been having the conversations of like, oh, Lex Luthor baby trapping Superman because that is an actual literal plot that gives birth to like their future. Like Connor. Connor is
hmm
half Superman, half Superman, half Lex Luthor. So, but the reveal that the guy in the suit was a clone of Superman. Conspiracy. This is my conspiracy brain. Shut me down. Feel free to shut me down. Did the did the clone of Superman not look like Henry Cavill? Which, if he does look like Henry Cavill, is this a metaf- is this a battle with new Superman, James Gunn, defeating Zack Snyder's?
I think you are going a little conspiracy theory with it. So I've heard different things. I've heard some people say he looks like bad Anakin Skywalker. I've heard
Oh.
lots of with the long curly hair. I've heard all sorts of things. Um, I knew something had to be going on. I thought maybe it might have even been like a Bizarro Superman that he took from another Earth at first, but I knew something had to be
Mm.
going on in terms of him getting, and one, there being a reason why we didn't see his face for most of the movie, and then two, how they got into the fortress. So I knew it was either,
Yeah,
it
because
had to
I
be a
look in the
version
beginning,
of
I was so
Superman.
like, how is he just getting into the Fortress of Solitude? I was like, Clark, you don't got no ring. Like these robots couldn't like immediately like send you a ping that like, yo, my guy, someone's in your fortress. Like, so the
Yeah,
reveal later on
yeah,
that he was a clone, I was like, okay, that because
yeah.
I was ready to fight.
Yeah, I
When
knew he either had to
yeah.
have like Superman's DNA with him or it had to be a version of Superman or something. Um, I saw some people even say that they actually should have cast Henry Cavill, and that would have been interesting
Mhm.
to see this Superman fighting a different version of Superman.
Nah, like we're
Um,
good.
and so either way, I thought it was a nice reveal. I liked David Corn Sweat, like, playing a different version of himself. Uh, when they did this storyline on Superman and
Mhm.
Lois, what was interesting, but it wasn't a clone, it was Bizarro Superman. So when
Yes.
they did this storyline on Superman and Lois, it was actually Lois who is able to convince Bizarro Superman to stop.
Hmm. Well,
Uh,
Bizarro Superman in the iterations I've also seen him in, he has a personality, right?
yeah.
He truly believes he's
Mhm.
Superman, and by the end of it, he's sort of the tragic embodiment of the realization is I am not Superman. I'm actually this nothing.
Yeah.
There's like that's
Yeah.
Bizarro's really fucking sad.
Yeah.
Um,
That's what I'm
but
saying.
this Superman
He
clone he was just a robot. He was like a rock'em socket, or whatever
Yeah.
you call it,
He was
Superman.
he was basically like a clone without full brain function, so they were able
Yes.
to, like, program him to do, what he wanted. So, yeah, so either way, no, I don't think that James Gunn was trying to say that he's, like, fighting no, like, I just don't, to be quite honest, I just don't think James Gunn, as much as people want to, like, pit James Gunn against Zack Snyder because essentially he's taking over.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah. No,
think
I
James
don't.
Gunn
I
actually
like. Look,
cares enough about Zack
yes,
Snyder to be
yes,
like trying
I
to make a
agree.
stand.
My theory is just my batshit hotepi. My
Yeah,
brain made those calculations, but there is nothing that
yeah.
says James Gunn just looks like a guy who is good at movies and that is his job and he shows up for it and then he goes home and he clocks out. He
Mhm.
like and I like
Yeah,
that for him. He doesn't seem to get overly like emotional
yeah, and he
about
cares about these
the job.
characters. Like, that's
Yeah.
the other thing about it. He, like, cares, he really
Yes.
does love these characters, so
And he's not trying to like what used to annoy me a lot about Zack Snyder is everything Zack Snyder, especially at the end, that it felt like he was trying to do was not it was like 2% of who Clark Kent is in the comics. In like the decades and decades of Superman comics, he was just so focused on the smallest portion of the personality that represents Superman, that represent Clark Kent. And he just kept going over and over and over again, like hammering that. And I'm like, dude, Superman is so much more than this. Clark is so much more than what you're giving me. So, like, again, like, that was my frustration with Zack Snyder. But yeah, no, that was just my Hotepi, you know, my brain just went there Hotepi wise. But, at the end of the day, I also like that cool fight scene with Mr. Terrific when he put Lewis in that little bubble. That was
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
And of course, James Gunn does that thing with music. That was also something noticeable with this. We know he loves him a good soundtrack, especially when it comes to his fight scene. So I really like that because I was like, okay, yeah, I'm seeing this was like Guardians of the Galaxy slash Superman. Like again, like yeah, he and
Well,
Guardian of the Galaxy is an excellent trilogy.
I like what they did in the sense that, again, he didn't have to go deeply into the other metahumans because of the fact that they aren't necessarily on a team with Clark. So you got just enough of their personalities to like know who they are, to like understand their dynamic. Um, and but we don't have Terrific's whole backstory, and we don't need it, right? We don't
Agreed.
have Hawk Girl's whole backstory, and we don't need it. And so
Hmm.
I appreciated that aspect of it where you're able to like get a sense of like who these characters are, but you're not over here like, oh, I have to know every single thing about
Yeah.
them.
Like you can
Um,
save that for other movies if needed.
mhm.
Because I'm assuming Justice Gang becomes Justice League is where that's going.
Uh,
No?
we'll see. We'll see.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, this is not the Justice League that I would put together at all.
Absolutely not.
So
Also,
I
like, I don't like. I've come to a realization. I don't like the Green Lanterns. Like, I don't like the Green Lantern Corps. I don't like they just. I don't like. You would think they were real to me. Like, I just hate the entire organization.
I
Right?
don't.
Because it's just these big headed men in space sending rings out to like random dudes from like different planets and being like, this is our belief system, go forth.
So the thing is, Guy Gardner is supposed to be annoying, and
Hmm.
to me, very different because they are already doing a Green Lantern movie with Aaron Pierre as Green Lantern. So I'm
Hmm.
interested to see how his interpretation of Green Lantern and how that will work. Um, who's the other? What I would love to see. I don't know if you read N.K. Jemison's run of Green Lantern with it was a woman Green Lantern. I would love to see that. I
Okay.
think that's
Well, you got to
great.
let them do Silver Surfer as a woman first. We got to see how the fanboys.
Oh, they're already mad about that. I
Oh,
refuse.
absolutely, absolutely.
I refuse to like even care. They're already mad
Yeah.
about that. But I'm super excited about if you want to. I was not excited for a Superman movie at all. I went to see Superman because I was visiting my brother. Me and my brother, we bond over going to movies, and he
Hmm.
wanted to see Superman.
Uh,
So that is why I went to see Superman.
gotcha. And the things I'm a
Um,
big Superman fan. Big. Like this, like I have read like runs and runs of comics. Like and again, it's like again, what pisses me off about Dark Superman from Zack Snyder is I knew what they were trying to do. I knew what Superman they were trying to bring forth, but then they just did it in such like a juvenile fucking way with no complexity, and it just I hated that entire run. Just a decade
so
of nonsense.
the thing that I'm excited for is Fantastic Four. I'm like
Yeah.
super excited for Fantastic Four. I actually like to the point where I actually just ordered Fantastic Four T-shirt
Hmm.
from Shop
Well, that's
Disney
cute.
for so I'm going to see it on my birthday. Like I
Aw.
I haven't been. I don't want to say I haven't been this excited, but like because I have been excited for the Marvel stuff that has dropped recently, but I haven't been like, oh my god, I'm getting the shirt. I'm like
Yeah.
dressing. I
Yeah.
haven't been like that level of
Yes.
excited for something in a minute. right?
Yeah.
So I'm really into this, and so yeah, so this was not the one that I was like super invested in or whatever, but I'm very happy that
Yes.
I got tickets. I'm very happy that I went to see it. I'm not, like I'm not sitting around like upset with how it's done.
Hmm.
I'm happy that e- even like I enjoyed it. I'm not gonna say it's like my favorite movie of the year,
Yeah.
but the way people are talking about it and they're excited, I'm so happy
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, yeah. And again, like
Like,
I like to remind everyone listening, look, we are not the norm, right? We are people who like have we watched way too many movies. So we see things differently. We notice other things that like if I just watch this movie with like my sister or my like nephews who don't care, like it would just be like a movie. And one, if you're listening to a podcast already, like, yeah, you're not the norm. So, but at the same time, this was a good movie. If I had to pick between this and Thunderbolts, though, I'm gonna have to go with Thunderbolts because I like the group dynamic and the villain a little
mhm,
bit better in that.
and
Um,
I would have even loved to see a James Gunn version of Thunderbolts too, because again, I think that's where
mm,
he excels is with teen
yeah,
movies.
yeah.
Um, I I I'm not at all hate. I will say that I do think in general people grade all DC things on a curve, which is another reason why I think everyone is so excited about this.
Yeah.
Like everybody's like DC's back. It's finally, and I'm just like, yeah, I think it's great. I also think y'all grade these movies on a curve.
Yeah. No,
Like
absolutely.
so
Absolutely. Yeah.
like I will
Yeah.
see the same people that will be like DC's back about this, and not to take away anything from this movie because I do think it's a really good indication of where the franchise is going. Um,
Hmm.
but people will be like, DC's back about like this while at the same time being like Ironheart is trash or
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah. No,
because
DC is
or
absolutely
or
graded on the curve.
Thunderbolts is
Yeah.
trash because it's not Endgame.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't understand how you can compare, like, to me Superman should be amazing. Superman
It
is the
yes. Yes.
like franchise character of the DC universe. It
Hmm.
should be amazing. Like amazing should be the minimum bar for
Yeah. Yeah,
Superman.
absolutely.
Whereas like you're like people will compare that with like a Captain Marvel, which I think was an amazing film. I thought The Marvels was an amazing sequel. But people
Mhm.
will compare Superman as a minimum being amazing to like The Marvels and be like, The Marvels wasn't the most perfect super hero
Yeah.
movie I've ever seen. So that means that Marvel doesn't know what it's doing with superheroes.
Yeah. You're
And
not wrong. It's definitely a slanted,
yeah, like,
a
so I'm just
slanted curve.
saying,
Yeah.
I'm sitting here
Yeah.
like, yeah, this was great. I had such a great time. I really enjoyed it. It was much better than I thought it was gonna be. And people are like, I'm not saying I'm getting this from people, but what I'm like, I feel like people are expecting everybody to be like, this is the best, this is what
Yeah.
we've been waiting for. And I'm like, I enjoyed it. I had such a
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
I was
It
in the
was
theater.
it was solid.
I'm not like it's not like when Sinners came out and I was like, I gotta
Yeah.
see this 2 and
I
3
was
times.
preaching to
Yeah,
the
and then
wall.
I'm telling everybody like, "You gotta go see
Yeah.
this." Or
Yeah.
like, it's not like I'm trying to think of something else that I saw recently
Yeah.
where I was immediately like, "I wanna see that again in theaters." Like, you know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Look,
Like
and to be honest, like this is Warner Brothers, right? Again, I have a hatred for the current leadership team at Warner Brothers. My rants are known in the internet sphere there. But this, they're not gonna roll out. They're not gonna give James Gunn a
Mhm,
blank check for
mhm,
the first movie, even though it is Superman,
mhm.
right? So I think people also need to take that into context, right? This is a movie done on a budget. Like somebody was like, nah. Zack Snyder, like The Flash, Money Days, done. Inflation, nah. Like this is what you have. You need to make it work. So I'm sure there's another movie in here that, like, if James Gunn had the Zack Snyder budget, would be a completely different movie. But it's not, and that's fine. It's a good, solid Superman movie. The first reentry again into the DC universe since 2013.
But I will say that they spent somewhere between 225 million to 350 million on this
Yeah,
movie.
budget was
So
reportedly
it,
225 before marketing. So let's say it's like 325 for the movie.
and that's 225 minus tax incentives
Yes, yes, of course,
and
yes.
tax breaks. So like the
Yeah.
actual cost before like whatever rebates that they got back
Mhm.
is actually closer to like 360 million.
Yes, yes. And it's so far they're saying it's globally 217 million so
Mhm.
far, which not bad for
But
an
that means
opening
that the movie
weekend.
is going to
Break even.
somewhat break even.
Yeah, it's wild that we live in a time where like hundreds of millions. It's gonna break even.
I
It's
mean,
good. I
I'm
don't know.
like,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to. Sorry, I'm gonna just do some quick comparisons.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
To
Disney
like,
spent 275 million on the Marvels,
okay.
and that's not one of its like flagship characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, Warner Brothers is super cheap.
Hmm.
They're a very stingy company. Like they be wanting returns for stuff they don't give enough money for. It's like
Yeah,
your boss wanting like an AI presentation with PowerPoint money,
yeah.
you know. So and maybe this is exactly why we say we grade DC on a curve, because look at all these asterisks we're
I know.
putting on the movie. But look, okay, 1 out of 5. What would you give this movie?
Oh, it's like a solid 4.
Agreed. I'll be a little strict. I'm gonna give it 3.8. That's just me being petty, you know. A solid 3.8.
Yeah,
I
to
want to
me, it's
leave
like
room for improvement.
yeah, it's definitely like a solid 4 stars.
Yeah.
I have not been on my usually I like track all the movies I watch and I like rate them and stuff like that. I have not.
Hmm.
I don't think since Sinners I've been like keeping as close track of the things that I've seen. I will say also in general, the past like 3 weeks has been crazy with stuff dropping.
Yeah.
Like the I would say like or the past month, like from like mid June till like through July 4th. Like it's been like I still haven't seen the new Jurassic Park movie. I haven't
Yeah.
seen 28 Years Later. I haven't seen um I still didn't get to see Lilo and Stitch in theaters. Like
Oh
it's just been
wow.
crazy. And that's not even accounting for all the stuff that's been dropping on TV too. So like
Yes.
or like Netflix has been dropping stuff. I'm like super behind on stuff on Netflix. So it's just been a lot, a lot, a lot. There's a lot of choices out right now, more
I
so
agree.
than there have
Yeah.
been in a minute. And I think people are just not we're never going to get back to what it was pre-COVID. We're just not. We're
Yeah.
never going to get
Well,
back to
also
where it
like
was
the
where
world
it
is
was like
literally on fire.
well that but I just mean also it's like I see so often people trying to compare like how come this didn't make a billion or how come this didn't make a
Mm.
billion
But that was
or
a decade long build up. Like it's not like, again, Iron Man
well,
1, 2, and or 3 did not come out here like making a billion.
but
Like
but even like even some of the like standalones did still hit a billion. It was just like we were in a different time. We were just
yeah.
in a different time where like people were going to see movies sometimes 2 and 3 times. I think movies like Sinners show that like really present something that's a great story. And I think to me the story coming out of Superman should be that when you take time to like make a great story, when you take time to make a clear story, um that will always like supersede anything else, right?
Yes.
And so like I think Sinner shows that like when there's like a good story that people come out and they really want to like dig into it.
Yeah.
And so I just think we're not in a time where you're gonna drop like we're gonna see summer blockbusters and everyone is gonna make their money back and then some.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just people just don't
Like,
go to the.
this was a good movie. Sinners is a great movie. That is
Mhm,
essentially the difference. It's still enjoyable. If you like Superman, like I do, like you do, yeah, it's worth. I sort of make it a treat for myself to go to the movies now, making an activity after a stressful work week. I just go check something out. But again, yeah, this is not the time period where I don't know. It's 2025. Enough said. But yeah, no,
Also,
this was a good movie.
there's
I
just
think if
too
you are
much.
a Superman, huh?
There's just too much. You have to choose. You have to choose,
Like,
and if
look,
you
I don't
have
even
to
know if it's the
choose, you're not everybody's gonna choose this. Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah. But this again was a good movie. A couple more drafts could have been great because I know James Gunn has the talent, he has the team, and he has the experience. So maybe I just you know what? Start me off with low expectations. Work it up from there. Don't start at a 10, and then I'm come like next time, like, blah, 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 blah. Like, this is fine. It's a good re-entry, good solid re-entry. If you're a fan of Superman, I think people will love this if they are fans of Superman.
mhm.
Um, it's a good story. Again, Nicholas Holt was my favorite. I think he just played a great villain, a great Lex Luthor. Everything else I could give or take. Is sort of how I felt, you know. But okay, I think that's all I've got. Is there anything else you want to add, Shanna?
Nope. I I definitely encourage people to. I don't want to say specifically go to this movie, but I think this summer is going to be filled with a lot of good stuff. From what I can tell, every time I look at my movie app, I'm like, oh, there's like 5 movies I want to see, and I
Yeah,
don't have the time to see them all. So I'm
yeah.
just
Like I
encouraging
really
folks to
enjoyed The
get out.
Materialist. Like that was good.
I had a good time at that. That was one of the few
Yeah.
movies I have gotten a chance to see. I just think like I want studios to temper themselves because I don't
Yes.
think they're going to see the returns that they used to see.
Yeah. They need
And
to
but I
stop.
don't think that's an indication that the movies are bad. I think it's just an indication that there is a lot again and there
Yeah.
are less
Stop
people coming
telling your
out.
investors they're gonna get 4x returns on these movies.
Exactly. And so what I want to encourage people to go to the movie because I think it's important that you do put your dollars towards the creative things that you like or that you think you will like, and we need to show up in that way. But I want the studios to temper themselves because I feel like as we continue to move towards this whole like AI thing, and maybe we can do it like we can do it cheaper and quicker with like AI, and I'm like, no, I again, I think what the movies that are out right now are showing is that people don't necessarily want quicker, cheaper. That's what the studios want. What the people want are good stories. And so I think for the audience, support those good stories with your money. And then for the studios, it's like learn the right lessons.
So you're saying you would like a bunch of older, wealthy white men with a bunch of yes people around them to temper their expectation of this industry that they're in charge of.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Anything could happen. Anything can happen. But yeah, no, they always ultimately come away with the wrong lessons, unfortunately. So I'm not gonna hold my breath on that. But it would be nice. It would be nice if they tempered their expectations. But look, movies kind of go like let me not get into the money of it, but like there's a couple of like a small percentage of this is also money laundering. Like let's just
Oh yeah,
that
I
and
heard about
that's
that.
globally.
I heard about that. Someone was saying like even if you're doing a small indie
Yeah.
film, like understand that where your money is coming from is very
Yes.
suspect and
Yeah.
very and probably not a good place. And I was like,
Look,
oh.
because what do you mean? Like, because if you think about it, we're dropping like 10 to 20 movies every year in America alone, where the budget is 200 plus million. Like, let's think about those numbers a little bit, y'all. Let's just think about those numbers a bit, and then your mind goes where it goes. But yeah, okay. So I think that's everything we wanted to share with you guys out there listening. Thank you so much for listening to us just talk about Superman. Again, this was a good Superman movie. Enjoyed it. I think I've said everything I could say about it. Shanna said everything she can say about it. So I guess this is where we officially sign off. You guys can find me, like the show notes says, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. All of that is there. If you enjoyed the movie, let me know. If you're one of those people who cried at this movie, let me know as well. Like, I kind of want to see the emotional pull because I'm not going to say, like, I'm probably a little bit dead inside. Like, that's just my skiz. But, like, if this movie made you cry, let me know what the emotional catharsis was that, like, initiated that. I want to, like, live vicariously through people who have feelings. That's to say. But that's all I've got for you guys. Shanna, do you want them to find you anywhere?
I not quite yet. Working on some things. There are some things that I was a part of that still haven't dropped, and I'm a little sad about that.
Oh,
But
oh,
yeah, then I'm also working on some other things, but they're not ready
okay. Okay. Well, when that time comes, you guys will absolutely
yet.
hear about it. And that's everything I've got for you guys this episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll do this again soon. Bye.